Joanne Woodward was born with the full name Joanne Jignat Trymere Woodward on February 27, 1930. She was born in a town called Thomasville in the state of Georgia. When Joanne was growing up, she absolutely loved stories and theater. She was fascinated by plays and movies from the time she was really young. Her love for acting started when she was just a little girl watching films at the movie theater. She would sit there amazed by the actors on the big screen. Later on, she got to act in school plays at her school and also performed in local theater shows in her town. This made her love acting even more. She went to college at Louisiana State University, which is a big school in Louisiana. There, she studied drama, which means she learned all about acting and performing. She worked really hard to get better at her craft. She had big dreams of becoming a famous actress one day, and she was determined to make it happen. After Joanne finished college and got her education, she made a big move. She packed her bags and moved all the way to New York City to become a professional actress. This was a huge and exciting step for her. She dove right into the world of theater and television during the 1950s, which was right after World War II ended. It was a time when lots of new shows and plays were being made. She studied acting under a famous teacher named Sanford Meisner at a place called the Neighborhood Playhouse. This teacher helped her develop a really good acting style that was all about being realistic and showing real emotions. Her early appearances on television showed everyone that she had natural talent and charm. She could play all different kinds of characters, which showed how versatile she was. These TV roles helped her get ready to move into movies, which would make her one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Woodward's really big break came in 1957 when she starred in a movie called The Three Faces of Eve. In this film, she played an amazing and difficult role. She acted as a woman who had multiple personality disorder, which means the woman had several different personalities living inside her. Her performance was absolutely stunning. It was haunting and showed so much compassion and understanding. The way she acted in this movie earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress, which is one of the biggest honors an actress can get. This role didn't just make her famous overnight, it also made people see her as one of the first major actresses of the modern psychological era in film. What that means is she was one of the first to really dive deep into complex mental and emotional characters. Critics who review movies and regular audiences who watched films were completely captivated by her talent. They loved how she could become so many vastly different personas with such detail and sincerity. She set a brand new standard for how women should perform in Hollywood movies. She showed everyone what great acting really looked like. Beyond just her film career, where she acted in movies, Woodward also did important work as a producer and director. A producer is someone who helps make movies happen, and a director is someone who tells the actors what to do. She had a really sharp eye for finding compelling stories that were interesting and meaningful. She had a passion for developing projects that showed what human life was really like, the good parts and the hard parts. She produced several films and television programs over the years. She often championed women's perspectives and stories, which means she fought to get women's voices heard. This was really important because at that time, the movie industry was mostly dominated by men who made all the decisions. There weren't many women in charge, so what she did was pretty brave and groundbreaking. Later in her life, she became deeply involved with the arts community in Connecticut. That's the state where she and Newman lived together in their home. She served as the artistic director of the Westport Country Playhouse, which is a historic theater. She worked hard to revitalize the theater, which means she brought it back to life and made it popular again. She also spent time mentoring young actors and playwrights, teaching them and helping them get better at their craft. She loved giving back to the next generation of performers. Joanne Woodward's acting career spanned over 5 decades, which means more than 50 years. That's a really long time. She gave acclaimed performances in many films. Some of these movies included Summer Wishes, Winter Dreams, The Effect of Gamma Rays on Manin, The Moon Marigolds, The Drowning Pool, and Mr. and Mrs. Bridge. Each of these films showed off her incredible talent in different ways. She earned numerous accolades throughout her entire career. Accolades are awards and honors that people give you when you do something really well. She won multiple Emmy Awards, which are for television, and Golden Globe Awards, which are for both movies and TV. All of these awards reaffirmed her status as one of America's finest and best actresses. Her work reflected not only incredible talent but also integrity, which means she was honest and had strong moral principles. Woodward consistently chose roles that spoke to the complexity of human emotion. She wanted to play characters with real feelings and real problems, rather than just going for roles that would make her look glamorous or make her more famous. She cared more about good storytelling than about being a big celebrity. In addition to her artistic success in movies and TV, Joanne Woodward was admired and respected for her humanitarian spirit and quiet philanthropy. Humanitarian means she cared about helping people, and philanthropy means giving money and time to help others. She didn't brag about it, she did it quietly because she genuinely cared. Alongside Newman, her husband, she co-founded several charitable organizations. One of the most special ones was called the Hole in the Wall Gang Camp. This camp provided joyful experiences and fun times for children with serious illnesses. Kids who were really sick could come to this camp and just be kids, have fun, and forget about being sick for a while. The couple's legacy of compassion and generosity continues to inspire artists and activists even today. People still look up to what they did and try to follow their example. As she gracefully aged out of the Hollywood spotlight, which means as she got older and stopped being in movies as much, Joanne Woodward's impact only grew more profound and deeper. She became a symbol of dignity, perseverance, and authenticity. She showed everyone what it meant to be classy, to keep going even when things are hard, and to always be your true self. She was an actress who never compromised her values for stardom. That means she never changed who she was or what she believed in just to become more famous. Her later years were marked by her devotion to her family, her community, and the arts she so dearly loved. Though she has largely retired from public life and doesn't do interviews or appear in public much anymore, her body of work remains timeless. That means her movies and performances are still just as good today as they were when they were made. They remind audiences of a golden era of cinema that was shaped by intelligence, talent, and heart. Joanne Woodward first encountered and met Paul Newman at their agent's office. An agent is a person who helps actors find jobs and roles in movies and plays. This meeting happened in a seemingly ordinary setting, just a regular office, but it would prove to be pivotal in both of their lives. Pivotal means really important and life-changing. At the time when they first met, both of them were relatively unknown actors. That means not many people knew who they were yet. They were both navigating the uncertain terrain of early careers in theater and film. They were both trying to figure out how to make it as actors, which wasn't easy. In 1953, they were both cast as understudies for the Broadway play Picnic. An understudy is an actor who learns a role and performs it if the main actor can't go on stage. Picnic was a classic play, and this job placed them in close proximity professionally. That means they had to work together and spend time near each other because of their work. Although they were not in the spotlight at this early stage of their careers, these initial encounters laid the foundation for a lifelong partnership. Even though they were just starting out, they were building something special without even knowing it yet. Their rapport grew, which means they started to get along really well together. This happened not just from shared ambition, They both wanted to be successful, but also from a mutual respect for one another's dedication and talent. They saw how hard each other worked and how talented each other was, and they respected that about one another. This period of their lives was marked by the typical struggles of young actors. They had long hours in rehearsal, which means practicing their lines and scenes over and over. They got limited recognition, which means not many people knew who they were or appreciated their work yet. They had the constant drive to prove themselves and show everyone that they were good enough. But this time in their lives also allowed a natural friendship to blossom into something deeper and more romantic. Their friendship was rooted in shared dreams and the understanding that their paths might one day converge in a larger way. They both dreamed of being big stars, and they sensed that maybe they could do it together. By 1957, Woodward and Newman's professional paths aligned on a more prominent stage. They both got cast in a movie together called The Long Hot Summer. The movie was a turning point for both actors, which means it changed things for them in a big way. Newman was already garnering attention for his intense screen presence. That means people were starting to notice how powerful and magnetic he was when he acted in movies. And Woodward was on the cusp of major critical acclaim, which means she was about to get lots of praise from critics and reviewers. They found themselves immersed in a project that demanded not only their acting skills, but also a deep chemistry between them. Chemistry means the special connection and spark between two actors that makes you believe they really care about each other. Their collaboration on this film revealed the personal connection that had quietly developed over the years. While making this movie, everyone could see that they had real feelings for each other. While working together on the film, they navigated the pressures of Hollywood's growing spotlight. That means they had to deal with more and more people paying attention to them and wanting to know about their lives. They faced the scrutiny of the public eye, which means people were watching them and judging them. They also had to handle the emotional demands of playing complex, passionate characters who had strong feelings for each other. It was during this time that Newman divorced his then-wife, Jackie Witt. He had already fathered 3 children with her, which means he had 3 kids from that marriage. Getting divorced cleared the way for a more permanent and public partnership with Woodward. Now Paul was free to be with Joanne officially and openly. On January 29, 1958, Woodward and Newman were married in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a city that's famous for quick weddings that happen really fast. But now, this date is forever etched in Hollywood history as the starting point of one of the most enduring marriages in the entertainment industry. Enduring means it lasted a really long time and stayed strong. Only a few months later, on March 28, 1958, Woodward reached the pinnacle of her career. Pinnacle means the very top, the highest point of success. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress for her transformative performance in The 3 Faces of Eve. Transformative means she completely transformed herself and became the character. She portrayed a woman with multiple personalities in that film, and she did it so well that she won the biggest award an actress can win. The timing of the award was serendipitous. Serendipitous is a fancy word that means it happened at just the right time by lucky chance. The award signaled not only a professional triumph, a big success in her career, but also a personal milestone in a marriage that would soon become legendary for its longevity and devotion. Their marriage was about to become famous for how long it lasted and how devoted they were to each other. Their marriage endured for an extraordinary 50 years. That's half a century. This was a rarity in an industry often characterized by fleeting relationships. That means in Hollywood, most relationships and marriages don't last very long, they come and go quickly. But theirs was different. Newman passed away from lung cancer on September 26, 2008. Lung cancer is a very serious disease that affects the lungs and makes it hard to breathe. It's what eventually took Paul's life. He left behind a legacy of both cinematic brilliance and personal devotion. Cinematic brilliance means he was amazing in movies, and personal devotion means he was completely devoted and loyal to Joanne. Reflecting on their life together, looking back on all the years they spent as husband and wife, Woodward has said some beautiful things. She once said about Paul, "He's very good looking and very sexy and all of those things, but all that goes out the window, finally, and what finally is left is if you can make somebody laugh. And he sure does keep me laughing." Her words highlight the profound emotional intimacy that underscored their marriage. That means her words show the deep emotional closeness that was at the foundation of their relationship. She's emphasizing that humor, companionship, and mutual joy were the glue that sustained them. What kept them together through decades of fame, personal challenges, and the inevitable trials of long-term commitment was that they made each other laugh and happy. They were best friends who enjoyed being together. Newman too spoke candidly about their union. Candidly means he spoke honestly and openly. He talked about their marriage and attributed its success to some combination of lust and respect and patience and determination. Lust means physical attraction and desire. So he was saying their marriage worked because they were attracted to each other, they respected each other, they were patient with each other, and they were determined to make it work. This was a succinct but deeply telling insight into the balance of passion and steadfastness that defined their partnership. Succinct means he said it in just a few words, but those words told you a lot about what made their marriage special. In interviews over the years, Newman often addressed the question of fidelity with characteristic wit and charm. Fidelity means being faithful to your spouse and not cheating. People would ask him how he stayed faithful to Joanne. When Playboy magazine asked him how he remained faithful to Woodward throughout their decades-long marriage, he responded with a famous quote, "I have steak at home. Why go out for hamburger?" This remark reflects not only his loyalty, but also a playful acknowledgement of their enduring attraction and connection. He was basically saying that Joanne was like a fancy steak dinner, the best you could get, so why would he go looking for something less good, like a hamburger? It was his funny way of saying she was everything he wanted and needed. He was framing fidelity as an active choice rooted in desire, respect, and satisfaction within a deeply bonded relationship. He chose to be faithful because he wanted to, because he loved her so much. Together, Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman built a family as well as a legacy. A legacy means something important that you leave behind after you're gone. They had 3 daughters together. Their first daughter was Eleanor Teresa, and they affectionately called her Nell as a nickname. Nell was born in 1959. Their second daughter was Melissa Stewart, who they called Lissy. She was born in 1961. Their third daughter was Claire Olivia, and they called her Clee. She was born in 1965. Woodward's devotion to her family ran parallel to her dedication to her craft. That means she was devoted to her family at the same time that she was dedicated to her acting career. She did both. She balanced motherhood with a demanding acting career, which wasn't easy. Being a mom and being an actress both took a lot of time and energy, but she managed to do both. Each daughter was raised in the light of their parents' commitment to one another. That means the girls grew up watching their mom and dad love each other and stay committed to their marriage. They learned from a marriage that, while not without its complexities, it had challenges and wasn't perfect, exemplified love, respect, and partnership. The marriage showed what real love looks like. The story of Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman is therefore more than just a Hollywood romance. It's not just a love story between 2 movie stars. It is a testament to enduring love, professional collaboration, and the rare magic that occurs when 2 people nurture both a personal and creative bond over a lifetime. A testament means it's proof of something important. Their story proves that real love can last. that two people can work together creatively, and that something magical can happen when two people build both a personal relationship and a working relationship together over many, many years. At 95 years old, Joanne Woodward, the luminous actress whose career spanned decades, finally did something surprising. Luminous means she was bright and glowing, full of talent and beauty. Her career lasted for many decades, and her personal life captivated the public almost as much as her performances did. People were fascinated by her movies, but they were also fascinated by her relationship with Paul. She finally broke her long-standing silence to speak candidly about her legendary husband, Paul Newman. For years and years, she had kept quiet about the private details of their life together. Known for her poise, grace, and extraordinary talent, Woodward had always guarded the private details of her life with Newman very carefully. She was preserving the mystique of one of Hollywood's most iconic couples. Mystique means mystery and magic. She wanted to keep some things private and special. Yet, in an extraordinary moment of reflection and openness, she allowed herself to speak with rare honesty about their marriage, their deep connection, and the realities behind the glamorous public image. She decided it was finally time to tell the truth about what their marriage was really like, not just what people saw from the outside. "We loved each other more deeply than anything else in this world," she said. Her voice still carried the warmth and sincerity that had defined her presence both on screen and off. Even at 95, you could hear in her voice how much she meant what she was saying. She was warm and sincere and honest. For decades, which means for many, many years, the world had been captivated by the partnership of Woodward and Newman. Everyone was fascinated by them. Their marriage, lasting over 50 years until Newman's death in 2008, had often been held up as a model of enduring love in Hollywood. People would point to them and say, "That's what real love looks like." It was a rarity in an industry notorious for fleeting romances. Hollywood is famous for relationships that don't last long, but theirs did. Yet, even with all the attention and speculation, people guessing and wondering about their relationship, Joanne Woodward remained steadfast in protecting the intimate truths of their life together. Steadfast means she stayed strong and didn't give in. She kept their private life private. Now, in her mid-90s, she spoke without reservation. That means she spoke freely, holding nothing back. She was offering a glimpse into the private dimensions of a relationship that had withstood fame, public scrutiny, and the inevitable pressures of a long life shared together. It wasn't always easy, she admitted honestly. There were moments of tension, times when we disagreed, times when life tested us. But the foundation of our marriage was trust, mutual respect, and a kind of love that could endure anything. She's saying that yes, they had hard times and they argued sometimes, but they had a strong foundation built on trust and respect, and a love that could survive anything life threw at them. Woodward's reflections illuminate not just the extraordinary nature of their romance, but also the character and strength she brought to the union. Her thoughts and memories light up and show us not just how special their love was, but also how strong and full of character Joanne herself was. An accomplished actress in her own right, she carved out a career that was admired for its intelligence and range. She created her own successful career. She earned an Academy Award for her performance in The Three Faces of Eve, and captivated audiences in films such as Rachel, and The Stripper. Yet, despite her own achievements and all the success she had on her own, Woodward often spoke of the partnership with Newman as a source of inspiration and stability. Being with Paul inspired her and gave her stability and strength. "Paul was my partner in every sense," she shared. "He supported me, challenged me, and made me want to be the best version of myself. We were equals, but we also completed each other in ways that are hard to describe." She's saying that Paul wasn't just her husband, he was her partner in every way. He believed in her, he pushed her to be better, and together they made each other whole. They were equal partners, but they also filled in each other's gaps and made each other complete. Their love story was not just about mutual admiration or shared interests. It wasn't just that they liked each other or had the same hobbies. It was about a profound emotional connection that transcended the superficial trappings of fame. Profound means deep and meaningful. Transcended means it went beyond or rose above. Their connection went way deeper than just being famous or being movie stars. It was a real, deep emotional bond. Joanne Woodward recalled the little moments, the quiet rituals, and the unspoken understanding that had anchored their life together. She remembered the small, everyday things that kept them connected. "It's the small things that mattered most," she said. A glance across a crowded room, a touch on the shoulder, a shared laugh in the middle of chaos. That is what love really is. Not the grand gestures or the public appearances, but the steady, quiet presence of someone who truly knows you. She's saying that love isn't about big, fancy things or showing off in public. Real love is about the little moments, looking at each other across a room, touching each other's shoulder gently, laughing together when everything around you is crazy. Love is having someone who really knows you and is always there for you quietly and steadily. Woodward also touched on the challenges of maintaining a relationship under the relentless scrutiny of the public eye. She talked about how hard it was to keep their relationship strong when everyone was always watching them and judging them. Both she and Newman were celebrities, famous people that everyone knew, yet they managed to shield the core of their life from intrusion. They managed to protect what was most important and private about their relationship from people butting in. People often thought they knew us, but no one really knew the intricacies of our life together, she explained. Intricacies means the complex, detailed parts. There were rumors, speculations, stories in the press, but we never let that define us. Our love was private, sacred in its own way. Sacred means holy and special and protected. Their love was something special that they kept protected and private, just between them. As she speaks at 95 years old, there is a reflective quality in Woodward's tone. Reflective means she's looking back and thinking deeply about her life. There's a mixture of nostalgia, reverence, and gentle melancholy in her voice. Nostalgia means she's feeling sentimental about the past. Reverence means deep respect. Melancholy means a gentle sadness. So she's remembering the good times. She deeply respects and honors Paul's memory, and she feels a bit sad that he's gone. Paul was extraordinary in so many ways, she said. Extraordinary means amazing and special, not ordinary at all. He had a generosity of spirit, a kindness, a moral compass that guided him through life. And he had a sense of humor that could light up any room. She's saying Paul was generous and kind. He knew right from wrong and lived by good values, and he was so funny that he could make everyone in a room happy just by being there. To have loved someone so deeply and for so long is a gift I cherish every day, even though he is no longer here. She considers it a precious gift that she got to love Paul so much for so many years, and she treasures that gift every single day, even now that he's passed away and is no longer with her. In finally sharing her thoughts after all these years, Joanne Woodward not only honors the memory of Paul Newman, but also gives the world a profound lesson in love, resilience, and authenticity. By speaking out, she's honoring Paul's memory and also teaching the world something important about love, about bouncing back from hard times, and about being your true self. She reminds us that even amid fame, pressure, and the inevitable passage of time, a relationship built on respect, devotion, and genuine companionship can endure. She's showing us that even when you're famous, even when there's pressure, and even as time passes and you get older, a relationship that's built on respecting each other, being devoted to each other, and being real friends can last forever. It leaves behind a legacy that transcends film, accolades, and the ephemeral nature of celebrity. It leaves something behind that's more important than movies, awards, and being famous for a little while. Our life together was not perfect, she concluded, wrapping up her thoughts, but it was real and it was ours, and that truth is something I will carry with me always. She's saying that their life together wasn't perfect, they had problems and challenges like everyone does. But it was real and honest, and it belonged to them. That truth, that realness, is something she will keep with her in her heart for the rest of her life.